And fans of the show, look, we're putting a show together for you guys. We're just fans of college football, okay? And we're just freak fans that follow football all year long, and that's really what we want you to do is just come along with us. Hit us up in the comment section, like the video, please, and subscribe.
And speaking of teams that are used to running other teams over, Georgia, Kirby Smart takes the stand, and for the second season in a row, he talks about battling complacency. Right, that's their biggest challenge. It's not so much who their opponent is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Auburn. It's not that, because they have a weak schedule. Let's just face it. It's a weak schedule this season, um, but it's still an SEC schedule, and those teams can sneak up on you. And Kirby knows that. If you may have the best team in football, and I think that they do. I think that they have um, the best talent combined with the most experience in college football. Last season was a rebuilding year for Georgia, and they still won a national championship. But so once again, you have to battle complacency so that you are able to get better. The new motto for Georgia this season is "Better Never Rest," and it's such a Kirby thing to say, to create this slogan to motivate his team. And I think it's another example of how or why Kirby is the best motivator in all of college football. Um, he's a great coach. He's a great defensive coach. But the more I hear his interviews and him talking about the culture that he's created at Georgia, the more I realize that this guy's not coaching anymore. I mean, he is. He is coaching, but in the grand scheme of things, he's a motivator. He's someone who is spending time with his team. He talks about these skull sessions all the time, and how he's going to as many of these different skull sessions as possible to spend time with those specific players. And I just think it's really unique. I know Kirby doesn't really rest. I know that he's working around the clock, but it seems like nowadays, since they've been on this run, more than in the past, since they've been on this run, he's really spent time getting to know his players and making sure that the players know each other, and that's kind of been his main focus. And he's kind of got this train rolling, right? So he's able to step back. Um, so I thought that was pretty interesting to hear him go into detail about where things are at and the state of the program right now. Um, what were your takeaways from hearing the old ball coach talk?
Yeah, I think Kirby has gotten a lot better year over year at this whole media thing, and dealing with the reporters and the tough questions. Georgia has had some uh, culture issues in question, whether they were issues or whatnot. I think he is really comfortable, like you said, though, with the rooms that he's built. He's got coaches in each room that are preaching from the book of Kirby, and I think he feels more comfortable with that than he ever has. Um, there's a lot of ex Georgia guys over there on that staff. This past year they went and hired, or they didn't hire him. They promoted Mike Bobo to take over as offensive coordinator, and which is a former Georgia guy and a former college football head coach, and has been offensive coordinator at Georgia before. So Kirby's got, I think, a lot of his people around him. I thought it was interesting. Uh, Now you're after the Northwestern thing that's happened with Pat Fitzgerald. I feel like every single coach now is going to be getting asked about, is this going on here? And Kirby, came out, and I thought he gave a very clear and convincing no to that. And so I think you're going to hear every coach get asked that uh, perforated cutout question. But Kirby is a much better speaker than he used to be. I think that's what making about $10 million a year will do for you. He's probably got him a coach. You talked about him. I've never heard Kirby talk about taking as much time off as what he's taking. That kind of surprised me. Um, Talking about how he spent 4 or 5 days locked away with his extended family, and how they went on a vacation before that, and it definitely seems like the back-to-back national championship winning head coach is pretty doggone relaxed. Um, and whereas this team does not have the most talented roster in the nation overall as far as rankings and ratings go, like you said, I think the combination of the experience that Georgia has with the guys that they have, uh, man, it's going to be pretty tough to derail the Bulldogs. I think this year that you mentioned the schedule. They were supposed to have Oklahoma. If I was in that room, I would have liked to ask, Kirby, um, why Georgia had to give that up. I mean, that was a non-conference game this year. They said the SEC told asked them not to play Oklahoma. You know, Georgia could have played Oklahoma. I mean, that was a non-conference game. The SEC has nothing to do with telling you who you can play in your non-conference. So, um, anyway, I felt overall good about what Kirby had to say and the state of Georgia.